Hello beautiful ones, how are you? So this practice is about allowing ourselves to bring how we really are into the practice. Acknowledging and befriending our emotions, our mood, the general tone for us today without needing to fix or change anything, without needing to analyze or make sense of anything, simply offering ourselves space, openness, receptivity, and perhaps empathy. You won't need anything today. I will see you on the mat. Okay, beautiful ones, let us begin on hands and knees, all fours. Knees about hip width distance. And as we start to slide the hips back towards the heels, walk the arms and the hands to the right in a child's pose variation with the arms walking forward and to the right. So there's a little bit more length through the left side seam of your body. Take a breath here. And then we'll lift the torso, walk the hands back to center and allow the hips to settle back and down now as the arms reach straight forward. Forehead might alight on the mat, it might just gently lower toward the mat. And next in breath, rise to all fours, shift the gaze slightly forward on the floor in front of you, chest forward, bend the elbows and lower to the belly. Hands alongside the torso, low cobra as you gently lift the chest, hug the upper arms in alongside the body. And exhale to press back to all fours. Tuck the toes under. Walk the hands back and sit the hips back on the heels as you lift the torso upright. So as we open through the soles of the feet, this might feel really intense and you might stand on the shins instead. Let's cross our right arm on top of our left arm. Bend the elbows. Maybe cross the hands, Garudasana arms. Maybe just holding the shoulders. We'll gently draw the forearms away from the face and then turn the torso and the head to the left. Gazing over your left shoulder. So we're just beginning with movement, straight into movement. Unwinding the body a little to create space for whatever is present for us today. Return to center. Remember, you can always stand up on your shins when you need. Release the arms and interlace the hands behind you. See if you can interlace with the right thumb on top and reach the knuckles back and down behind you. Allow a little softness through the elbows and feeling as though you're pulling the arms apart, but the interlace of the fingers won't allow that to happen. One more in-breath all the way up to the collarbones. And then exhale, release the interlace of the hands, hands to the mat, lift the knees, lift the hips and fold over the legs. From this Uttanasana, keep your beautiful feet as they are and walk the hands forward into a downward facing dog. And this is where we are going to be for a full minute. So allowing ourselves to be in down dog, in stillness if possible, and just noticing what's present. So you might begin by sensing into the support of earth beneath you. observing sensations in the body. And if it's available for you, opening to thoughts or feelings as they arise in your moment-to-moment experience, holding them just lightly in your awareness, allowing the awareness to be really open and receptive, not needing to hold on or tighten around anything in particular. So there's a real spaciousness. And now that's been a minute. So as we inhale, we'll rock forward to plank pose, and we're going to do the same for a minute in plank. So if you prefer to have the knees on the mat and arrive in a modified plank, that might be you today. And we're staying in the shapes today because there's so often a tendency to always want to move on to the next thing, particularly if we're avoiding or pushing something away. It might be physical sensation, it might be a thought or a feeling. So just holding the present experience, your aliveness, if you like, the aliveness of the sensations, the aliveness of the general mood or tone for you today, the fluctuations of the mind, holding that in your awareness without moving on. So we've got one more breath here, beautiful ones. And then as we exhale, lower the knees to the mat. We'll slide the hips back towards the heels as we walk the hands forward and to the left, and we'll come into that lovely side bending child's pose again. And then lift the torso and the head, walk the hands to center and slip the hips back in space again and allow the head to bow towards earth. Next in-breath, rise to all fours, chest forward, bend the elbows, lower. Small or medium-sized cobra pose, anchoring through the hands and the tops of the feet. Back to all fours, tuck the toes, walk the hands back, sit back on the heels or stand on the shins, left arm on top of right arm. Bend the elbows, cross the hands. You might choose to have the hands uncrossed. Fingertips lift upwards. And we turn to the left. Allow the gaze to come with you too, gazing over your right shoulder. And returning to center, release, interlace the fingers, left thumb on top, reach the knuckles back and down. So inviting openness across the front of the chest and fullness in the breath. Next exhale, let it go. Lift the knees, lift the hips, fold over the leg. Gently walk the hands forward. Arrive back in your downward facing dog. And I have a little timer here, so I'm timing us. 1 minute. Allow yourself to feel what you feel here without needing to change or fix, without needing to make sense of it. Perhaps offering it's almost like a soft smile, a sense of warmth, kindness, friendliness, to whatever is present. Last breath. And forward to plank pose. We're here for a minute. Maintaining plank. Maintaining plank with integrity, so there's firmness to the legs. There's length through the crown of the head. Whether you have the knees on the mat or not, you press the mat away and lengthen your tail or the top rim of the buttock towards your heels. And as you attune to what's alive within you right now, noticing resistance, if there is any. And allowing that to be a part of your present moment experience too. One more breath. And then as we exhale, we lower all the way to the belly. Reach the arms alongside the body. Lift the chest, lift the arms, float the legs. Locust pose. We won't be here for a minute, but we'll be here for a few more breaths. So maybe a little bit of a longer hold of locust than what we may be used to practicing. So take another breath here. And as you exhale, release the hands to the mat. Tuck the toes under, press to plank pose, and lift the hips up and back. Downward dog. Raise your right leg behind you. Three-legged dog. And step your right foot through between your hands. Lower your left knee to the mat, and we're going to be here a little while, so you might lower the knee onto a folded blanket or a cushion. And coming upwards, lift the torso. Maybe rest the hands on the top of the front thigh a moment. So as we've attuned to what's present and alive for us today and in the practice, and as we continue to hold that, you might notice that we tend to hold things in the body too. So whatever's present there, maybe it's an emotion, a feeling, or a repetitive sort of thought that's connected with an emotion. It might be somewhere in the body. It might be in the lower belly. It might be in the jaw. It might be in the temples, the tops of the shoulders, the lower back. So just bringing your hands there, wherever there might be something that is a little more intense for you right now. Bringing the hands to the part of the body that might be holding that, and using the touch of the hands to just acknowledge it and to hold it in presence, knowing that whatever we resist persists. Oh yes, I am very good at resisting. So offering yourself kindness and warmth and holding what's present, allowing it to be there and knowing that it will change. One more in-breath. And then as we exhale, let's bring the hands to the mat and lift the back knee. Whew, I feel like I was just giving myself a pep talk there. Let's pivot the back heel onto the mat and come up into Warrior Two. And in this Warrior Two, we'll be here again like we were in our down dog and our plank for a full minute. So let it be a sustainable Warrior Two. Perhaps the palms are turning upwards or the elbows are a little softer, knowing that 15 seconds has already passed. And just staying in the pose, even though we could move on, even though we could practice flow and fluidity and lots of movement, choosing not to today. Being here in the shape and feeling what we feel, what's present. Last 15 seconds. And then next in-breath, straighten through the front leg, hands to the waist, right toes turn in. Now let's turn the heels in, toes out, about 30 degrees. Bend the knees, come and sit into a squat. Bring your forearms to the inner thigh or the inner knee. So lean forward and press the forearms on the inner thigh or knee. And maybe hands hold the shins here. And this is just really about creating a little bit of space and length through the inseams of the legs. And we won't be here a full minute. Just another breath. And as you exhale, hands to the floor, straighten the legs, turn the toes forward. Stay in your wide-legged forward fold shape. Walk the hands now forward on the mat, so my hands will come out of shot of the camera, but it's as though the arms are walking forward into a downward dog and the legs stay wide in a wide-legged forward fold, and the ears can be between the upper arms as you allow the head to lower. Picking up your right arm and reaching it underneath the left arm. Right hand can just reach across to the outer left thigh, outer left calf, and turn the beautiful tulip globe of your head to look underneath your left armpit. So inviting a little twist here, rinsing, unwinding the body, creating space to hold what's present. How are you? And we'll return, unwind, walk the hands underneath the shoulders, lift the chest, pivot on the feet towards the top of the mat, walk the hands to the top of the mat and step back to downward facing dog. Let's move into second side. Left leg lifts up behind us and step the left foot forward between the hands, back knee to mat, both hands to front thigh, Anjaneyasana. And hands again to just acknowledge, to settle on the part of the body that might be associated, that you might feel like you're holding a particular mood or feeling or emotion. And allowing the warmth of the hands there to acknowledge what's present without needing to change, staying curious, maintaining a lightness, a friendliness, two more delicious breaths. And then let's release. Hands to the mat, lift the back knee, pivot the back heel to the mat, warrior two. I'm going to leave you now more and more in silence, 1 minute in warrior two. Observing the inner landscape. One more breath. Inhale, straighten the left leg. Turn the left toes in, hands to the waist. Turn the heels in and the toes out a little. Settle down into your little squat. Forearms to inner thighs as you lean forward and gently press the thighs outward. Hands to the mat, straighten the legs, toes forward. Walk the hands forward. Pick up the left hand, reach it underneath the right arm. Take a hold of anywhere along the outside of the right leg as you turn to the right and gently pull the left hand into the right leg. And we'll unwind, hands under the shoulders. Walk towards the top of the mat as you pivot on the feet and step back, downward dog. Choosing a last minute in downward dog or plank pose. Experience whatever you're experiencing. Knowing that this is aliveness. This is human experience. Holding this in your awareness. 2 more breaths. And whether you're in plank or down dog, knees to the mat, hips to the heels, turn the palms to face upwards, child's pose. Fingers are soft. How are you right now? Inviting how you are into this practice, into this pose, into this moment. And extend breath, lift the head and the torso, and let's sit the hips to one side and come and lay down on our backs. We'll bend the knees, soles of feet to the mat. And then we'll draw our right knee into the chest, reach the left leg along the mat. The sole of your right foot comes across and rests on the top of your left thigh. Open your right arm to the right and then use the left hand to guide the right knee across the body towards the left into a twist. Next exhale, let's unwind. Hug the right knee in and switch sides. Left knee draws in, right leg long. Left foot to top of right thigh and left knee across the body as the left arm reaches to the left. Lower body turning to the right and upper body turning to the left. And next exhale, unwinding. Hug the left knee in. Hug the right knee in. And then let's reach the legs and the arms straight upwards and give them a shake. So shake the feet, shake the hands, shake the legs, shake the arms. And whenever that feels like it's been enough for you today, let the hands fall onto the body and the feet fall onto earth. You might let the legs slide away from you, or perhaps finding another still shape. Last few moments here of stillness, listening, feeling what you feel, observing the inner landscape. Even if it's tempting, perhaps to move on to the next thing, giving yourself just another half a minute here. Thank you for sharing your practice. Peace, peace, peace.